Hello everyone and welcome to this challenge video where I'm going to see how long it takes me to make a programmatic SEO website with over 1,000 pages using CLINE and Anthropic. Let's get into it. So let's start the timer here, and basically the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this command here on Visual Studio Code. So I just do terminal, new terminal. I'm just going to run this command, but I'm going to change it to cheese directory. I'm just going to put a 1 there because I guarantee I already have something called cheese directory. You can just spam yes on all of these. Just spam enter, sorry, not yes. Just spam enter. And then that is then going to create this folder. And then once that is created, once that's finished, so that's cheese directory 1, remember? So file, open folder, cheese directory 1, select folder, sure, I trust. There we go. Go to terminal. And then you want to get CLINE if you don't have it. So just go to extensions and type CLINE and then just install it, and then it will appear here. I'm going to be using Anthropic. I've already got everything set up and I have my special instructions. I'll give you all of this and the prompt in the description of this video, so don't worry. I'm just going to change it to plan mode, and then I'm going to go to the prompt here and I'm going to select the entire prompt, which again you can find it in the description of this video, and also there's also the link to the special instructions that I have for CLINE. If you want one of these websites done for you instead of doing it yourself, please feel free to get in touch with us. We're looking to make some of these websites so feel free to get in touch with us, and there's a link to book a call at the top of that document. So I'm just going to put the entire prompt here and then press enter. And then it's going to plan the project for me. The only other thing that you need is a OpenAI API key. Which then generates the other data. Yeah, this keeps happening with ShadCDN. ShadCDN just does not work on my computer. I think it's something to do with Windows, but so JSON cheeses, right? So it generates a description. God, this is annoying. It's not going to work anyway. So it generates a description, it generates a history, right? Because ChatGPT knows the history normally, more or less. It generates the pairings, storage tips, serving suggestions. Because if you think about it, if you just go on ChatGPT and say, how do I store this cheese? It's going to give you a fairly good answer 99% of the time, right? It's probably not going to be exact, but it's going to be good enough for this type of website, right? And then taste profile as well. This is also generated, which means that you can then generate a little data visualization, like a graph or whatever. Okay, so it's literally just doing this on its own, but I'll explain a little bit of what it's doing. So it installs ShadCDN. ShadCDN just doesn't work on my computer. I should just remove it from the prompt. I think it did actually eventually work. Then it created components that it needed, and then it created the utils file, and now it's creating other components, and then it creates the layout. The layout is the home page, if I'm not mistaken. And then it does the tailwind. So it's basically just doing everything for me while I was explaining this to you guys, right? So we're only 8 minutes in. We've spent 0.466, so 50 cents basically. And it's, you know, getting there, getting close to the end of the job already. So what it's doing now is it's designing using programmatic SEO, right? And what I mean by that is these inputs are in the slug are programmatic. So all of these are programmatically generated, meaning this part of the slug is input according to data inputs, right? So slug type, so milk type, origin, country, if that makes sense, right? So this is taken from the CSV, which says that this cheese is French, and then it automatically populates that category page with all the cheeses that are French, and it automatically populates this slug with France, the word France. Okay, so now it's kind of finished the building process. Now it's going to start doing the like actual building the project process using npm run build. So I'm just letting it do its thing right now. I'm just letting it run itself. I'm not telling it to do anything. It's literally just doing all of this. I'm just giving it permission to do certain things. So this is the really cool thing. It actually reads the error logs itself. That's the best thing about this. So watch. There is an error. Now watch it fix it. There's no more like, oh, what is this error? I need to put this in ChatGPT. I need to work out what is that screen? Bloody kids, man. I need to work out what this error is. I need to put it in ChatGPT. I need to ask ChatGPT for 3 hours. Oh, it's this really weird error that doesn't make any sense to a non-coder. All you have to be able to do is just run files on Visual Studio Code. That's all you need for this. Literally. There's no coding here. I'm not coding. Okay, so here we go. We're finally processing 3 cheese records. This could be a lot quicker, so like I'd probably say before I did, so yeah, it generated the files. But I would probably tell it to make sure that it's doing, what's it called? Asynchronous calls. So now, as far as I know, it's done. Okay, so it's still a couple of errors here. That's fine. Oh, npm run build was that? Yeah, okay. So there's a few TypeScript errors that it's just gonna fix. How far in are we? 15 minutes. Pretty damn good. Just keep running the commands that it's telling me to run every time it pops up. It's literally that simple. Like I said, I'm not doing anything special here. I'm not coding. Anyone can do this. Literally anybody can do this. Okay, so there's still some errors. Again, I didn't touch anything there. It's just fixing the errors itself as usual. And then it will run npm run build again. Once it feels like it's fixed all the errors. It does take a bit of patience, this part, to be honest with you. Sometimes you just want to say, can you just get it right the first time? But it's AI at the end of the day. So it's still doing some weird error here. I'm not really sure what's going on. But I'm just going to trust it and just let it sort itself out. Because it does seem, it has a good history, for me anyway, of it just sorting itself out when I'm using it, when I'm not recording. Every time I'm recording, it seems to just fucking get lost in a loop. There we go, I got through it. So now these are page type errors. These are very common when we're using TypeScript. It almost makes me not want to use TypeScript because, or Next.js, just because it's so annoying. I hate these errors. Like, how can you not use an apostrophe in TypeScript in a paragraph on a website? It doesn't make any sense. Actually insane. Really confuses me. But then again, I don't know anything about programming, to be honest with you. So there might be a really specific reason for that that makes perfect sense. But for me, it's just ridiculous that you can't have an apostrophe. Anyway, we are 16 minutes in. I think it's pretty much done. Once you can run npm run build, it's done pretty much. The only other thing is that you will have to push it to GitHub. But I'm gonna try and let CLINE do that for me. I've never done that before, so it might not work. But I am going to see if CLINE can do it for me. Just because I want to know if there's a way to do this like with zero programming experience. Because once it's on GitHub, then all you do is you just go on Vercel, connect the project, and then it's done, literally. You buy a domain on Vercel. It takes like 2 minutes to work out. Okay, so look, you can see it compiled successfully, linting and checking validity of types. Collecting page data, generating static pages, bang, bang, bang. It actually did it So it says that it's finished. Let's see. Let's open this up. There we go. Boom. Look at that. God. It is kind of insane that you can do it that quickly, right? Is it just me that thinks that? Like, that's crazy, dude. Look at this. It hasn't made any, it didn't make any data visualization. But apart from that, like, the website is perfect. It's done. It's literally done. Okay, so there's no about us page. Sitemap. Okay, it actually took me to the sitemap. That's interesting. So this is just from the code. You could just change this to whatever your domain is and then rebuild it. Don't worry about that. Origin doesn't exist. Check textures therefore won't exist. Milk types therefore won't exist. And flavors doesn't exist. But that's fine. We can fix that like very, very easily. So if I control C here and then just send these errors, right? And then also make me a SVG. No, make me a favicon. I don't know if it can make me favicons actually. No, I think that's a bit much to ask it. So it didn't create these index pages, but that's totally fine. Like to change things, as you can see, it's very, very easy. And it generally, from what I've seen, it doesn't delete code like Bolt does, which is obviously very, very useful. Let's see. I just saw some hard coding there, which I'm not a fan of. So it's just making these index pages that it didn't make before. Everything else was working. This is literally the only thing that wasn't working. And then the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say push this to GitHub for me, and I'll put it on Vercel. I'm not going to buy a domain. I'm not going to spend $20 just to show you that you can very quickly and very easily add a domain. But I just want to show you guys the process up to that point, basically. So this should be pretty much done now. And compared to like this was taking me 6 hours before, just because I had to fix all the errors using Cursor or ChatGPT or whatever, and just having a really really hard time with it. So it's even making an about page because it noticed that slash about was also 404ing. You can see the website's extremely quick as well. There's no images here, so it'll be very cheap to run on Vercel. I'm not saying this is 100% going to rank on Google. What I believe is that this is just a very interesting and very cheap testing platform to test for you or to test for clients or just to test. If you're making blogs, then why would you not just do this as well? It's extremely cheap. This costs $3 to build, right? And then $20 to buy a domain. Or okay, that one didn't work either. But there we go. There's milk types. So cow milk cheeses. There we go. Sheep milk cheeses. Sheep. Did you know that? Perfect. Like look at that. That's so cool. Origin. I don't know if that was created. That's probably not created by ChatGPT. It's probably created by Claude, hard coded. And then some of these are also 404ing. I'm not going to fix this now, I don't think, just because I do want to show you guys the final part of this, and I want to see if I want to see if CLINE can do it. So we'll do Control C here, and then I'll say, can you help me launch this on GitHub to a new branch called cheese dash directory? Let's see if this works. I have a feeling this will work. So get in it. Yeah, good. Now let's switch to a new branch. Good. Let's add the files. Good. Good, good, good. Let's create the initial commit. Okay, I like it. Oh, one more thing that we would have to do actually. Okay, so I need to create the URL. This is common with GitHub. So all you do is you just go on GitHub on your account, right? And then you just press new repository, type cheese directory, for example. And then I'm just going to make it private and then create the repository because I think my OpenAI key is there somewhere. So now all you need to do is just give it the URL like this, and then it should do the command for us here. Just open. Oh, wait. Did I just press new task or something? That did not happen there. Okay, so there we go. Git remote. Perfect. Now let's push. That will then push the code to my GitHub. There we go. So again, if you've got no coding experience, you can still do this, right? Now watch, if I refresh this, beautiful. Then all you do is you just go to Vercel. Okay, just log into Vercel, go on your dashboard, and then add new project, import Git repository. There it is, cheese directory. So import this. I don't think it needs any of this. Oh, sorry, one more thing that we do have to do actually, which is possibly the only thing that you would need to read any code for, is you just need to go to your data.csv file and then fill it with all of the data that you actually want to use, right? So I have like cheese details.csv, I think it is. Yeah, it's here. So I'm not going to do all of these. I'm just going to do 100 or so. Another thing you will have to do as well is you will have to potentially say to CLINE, like, make the calls asynchronous to speed up the data generation pipeline, right? So just be aware that you may have to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this inside data.csv, okay, and then I'm going to run the process again, which is generate data. Now it's processing 100 cheese records. Perfect. That's good. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, now there's suddenly an error. Data processing complete. Okay. That was pretty fast, to be honest with you. Shouldn't be that fast. That was very fast. So I'm just going to say quickly, the data generation doesn't seem to work anywhere. So probably what happened was because it changed a lot to do with the it just changed a lot basically. So it just needs to quickly fix that, I would say. Oh, that's literally all it is. That's crazy. Literally all it is that there's a I see. So yeah, there's a URL interface basically. That's literally the only thing that happened. So on data, I just added a URL thing because it copied the data. So the original data that it put here was incorrect because it didn't have URL in it, basically. Just be wary that the data that you have given it in the prompt, that you give it in the prompt here. So if I just scroll down just to show you the way that this prompt works, is that there's a CSV data thing here. It might not copy this exactly, right? So there was no URL, it seems, or it had it in the wrong order, or whatever it was. So now it's generating the data here. It should work this time, I would guess. It should take a bit of time. It shouldn't be as quick as it was on when I was just looking at it there. Okay, so it's actually pretty quick, 105 a minute. So yeah, it's fast. It'll take 1 minute, not 10 minutes, which is really, really good. So even if there were thousands of cheeses, it would take 10 minutes. And the good thing about it being a statically built website is that you don't necessarily have to run npm run build when pushing it to Vercel. I think I will though. I just need to make sure it works first. So this is definitely working. Okay, beautiful. Now it just needs to do npm run build. Once it works locally, oh, it didn't work. So this is why, yeah, you have to double check things, because if I'd push this and then try to build it on Vercel, it wouldn't have worked. Once it works locally, then we can push it to Vercel again with the new data, basically. Okay, there we go. It finally generated. It took a little bit of time just because it was. How did it know that I wanted it to do that? That's crazy. There were a few problems with the paths, like if a place had multiple origins, then it was making like a really long URL. So let's just run all these commands again. I'm pretty surprised that it remembered to push to GitHub. That's pretty sick. This is like Devon, but better. Damn, I didn't. Yeah, this is pretty amazing, actually, to be honest with you. It's just doing all of this for me. I'm not doing anything. Okay, there we go. It should be about ready now. So we'll just go back to Vercel. We'll just refresh this. There we go. It says just now, as you can see. Cheese directory build should be npm run build. Fine. So we should just be able to press deploy here. And then should be able to see in the build logs that it builds successfully. So let's just see if that's true. Seems to be fine. Okay, so there's obviously an issue here because it's saying generating static pages 10 of 10, but that's not all of the pages. But there we go. At least it worked. So we should be able to continue the dashboard, open it up. Did it not generate the cheeses? I'm not sure it has. Oh yeah, Tuscany. No. Right, so I think the problem here is that I need to run other commands on Vercel, right? So let's go back on Vercel. I think in order to build this project, I have to run. So I have to do npm run generate data, and then and npm run generate sitemaps, and then npm run build. I think, yeah. Anything else? No. So let's save that. And then I think we go to project, deployments, redeploy, redeploy. So let's watch the build logs and make sure it's doing what we've asked it to do. So it should run those commands in order. So I'm just reading. Again, I'm not coding really. Starting cheese data processing, processing 100 cheese records. Perfect. There are still a few changes I would make to this project personally, and just be warned that if this takes more than 15 minutes, it will time out. So just be warned of that. That's why it has to be quick, but I mean 130 a minute, you can do a pretty good amount of data, so 1,000. But you can definitely make it faster. You can make the pipeline much faster. OpenAI has huge rate limits, so you can do like 1,000 a minute, I think. It doesn't have to be this slow. Okay, so that worked. Data processing completed, creating an optimized production build. So now it should, I don't think it did the sitemap generation, but that's fine. Oh no, it did. It's here. Sorry, generated sitemap. Okay, beautiful. And then there we go, 192 pages. Perfect. So those pages basically they're the regions, the countries, the milk types, all that good stuff. So it's done, completed. Let's open this up. This should work now. Yeah, perfect. Okay, that didn't work. This worked. So there are a couple of things that still need editing, but like it's pretty much there. We've got an entirely programmatically generated website. It took 40 minutes, literally all you do now. This is the fastest I've ever done it, by the way. Like it used to take me a lot longer. You just go settings, or you can just click domain, sorry, here, and then add. Or the actual way to do it is to go to domains here. So there's like two, just so you know, with Vercel, this is kind of confusing, but once you get used to it, it's fine. These are the dashboard settings, right? So anything at the top of here is for, your entire system. So you got to go on your dashboard settings and click on domains and then buy, and then just like mycheesehelper.com. Now, if you want to save money, don't buy it with Vercel. It's so cheap, I might just buy it. But you just click buy here, and then once you've bought it, you go back to the settings of your site, of your project, right? So click within your app, and then click domains, and then add, and then choose the domain here, and then add domain, and everything else, it'll just be done for you, right? It's literally that simple. So yeah, that's the entire process. Then you set up Search Console, you submit your sitemap, and then you move on to the next website. You can do 10 of these a day. Cost, is $4, $5 plus whatever the domain is. It's about $15 right now on Vercel. So $11 for the domain and $4 for the creation of the website. I think that's pretty damn good, to be honest with you. And you can do 10 of these a day. That's 140 a day. Keep moving on to the next one. Keep doing the next one. Keep doing the next one. And just see what happens, right? Anyway, I'll leave the video there, guys. It took 42 minutes. Let's just say 40 minutes because, yeah, I did a few other things as well. I just explained a few things, etc. It probably would have taken me about 30 minutes on my own if I wasn't recording a video and trying to explain everything. I'm going to leave the video there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching all the way to the end of the video, you're an absolute legend. I'll see you very, very soon with some more content. Peace out.